Today we will discuss about the justification of tenders. When we invite the tenders, then the tendered cost may not be equivalent to estimated cost put to tender. Then we have to examine whether the tendered cost is justified or not. And this statement which is prepared is called justification statement of tenders, and that is what we call it, preparation of justification of tenders. If you talk about the estimated cost, then preliminary estimate is prepared for getting administrative approval and expenditure sanction, or simply we call it sanction. Normally the preliminary estimate is prepared on plinth area rate basis for buildings. So this estimated cost or sanctioned cost is different from estimated cost put to tender. Then we prepare detailed estimate. Detailed estimate is prepared for preparation of tender documents, and this is based on a bill of quantities, and bill of quantities is prepared for making part of the tender documents. This BOQ or bill of quantities is taken from the detailed estimate. Estimated cost put to tender is worked out from the detailed estimate. It is the cost worked out in BOQ, basically this estimated cost put to tender. And we know that BOQ may include cost of work as per the items considered either from schedule of rates applicable or based on analysis of rates prepared, that is on based on market rates. Cost of work including the cost of some essential items like testing charges of materials and establishment charges, etc., may also be included. If we talk about the item rate or percentage rate tenders, then rates are taken from schedule of rates in BOQ, except the rates which are taken on market rates. But sometimes schedule of rates or SOR may be old document, or this SOR document may be of some other location and not of the same location where for which tenders are invited. Some items of schedule of rates may not be close to the market rates. That is also possible because of the inflation of the cost or reduction in the cost. If we talk about the schedule of rates, then if schedule of rates is old or of some other location, then normally what we do is we add cost index on the rates considered in BOQ or detailed estimate to bring the cost at current level. But we must understand that the cost index is derived for a complete building, and if a building is not being proposed in current work and the estimate is being prepared for part of the work, or it is for repair and maintenance, or the proposed building is not having the same specifications as considered in plinth area rates, then it may not be realistic. If the rates of few items have large variation, the cost derived from adding cost index and market cost may not tally. Suppose the rate of cement has increased a lot or steel has increased a lot, then suppose we add cost index, general cost index at the rate of 5%, and the rates of cement or steel, which are main components, have increased by 20%, then certainly the rates will not tally and the cost will also not tally. Generally, items which are not included in BOQ are also many, and these may be large number of items, uh, they are part of the tender many times, and the contractor has to consider its financial implications. These may be like taxes, if any, safety and environmental considerations which are to be taken care during execution of work. Establishment cost for the client, suppose the client wants site office, conference hall, etc., etc. Workers welfare cost or labor welfare cost. Then field laboratory cost and testing charges is part of the contract. Then any other charge part of the tender document through conditions of contract or clauses of the contract, apart from its own establishment charges, because there are many conditions in the contract, in general conditions of contract or clauses of contract which have financial implications, and they are not part of the BOQ directly. Then price escalation, suppose it is not payable as per the contract, but the contractor knows that some variation will be there, then it is also to be considered by the contractor. So estimated cost put to tender may not be close to the cost of work as per the market rates. Therefore, the justification is to be prepared considering analysis of each item based on market rates at the site. Market rates are to be considered at the site, or the cartridge is to be added if rates are of somewhere else, including all levies and taxes, and considering the cost of conditions of contract or clauses of the contract. So once this is prepared, it is called justification statement or justified cost, whatever it comes. So estimated cost put to tender and estimated cost of work or sanctioned cost of work are different. They are not the same. Estimated cost put to tender is derived from SOR items or analyzed items, while estimate for sanction is prepared normally from plinth area rates. Plinth area rates are normally derived from the cost of completed works, and as such it includes the components a contractor considers while quoting the rates, because the final cost of the work is taken. It means the actual cost is taken while deriving the plinth area rates, and contingent expenditures are also taken. It means final expenditure figures are taken by the department. So it means plinth area rates consider, or sanction rate or preliminary estimate cost rate consider the actual cost. Then if we consider payable items, then when a contractor is quoting the rates, whether it is item rate tender or percentage rate tender, then there are some items which are paid extra, like variation cost. Tax is not the part of the contract if they are to be reimbursed or paid separately, those. And then price escalation is part of the contract. Suppose it is payable, then that will be payable on contractor quoted rates, and any other charges if not the part of the contract. Suppose testing charges of materials are to be reimbursed separately, then those will also be reimbursed. Apart from this, the department may incur expenditure on survey, site investigation, testing of materials, establishment, advertisement, etc., etc. Therefore, the total cost of the tendered cost put to tender will be different, will be rather more than the quoted rate or estimated cost put to tender. So, estimated cost put to tender, justified cost, and the sanctioned cost are not the same. Generally, current sanctioned cost may be more than the other two. It means if the preliminary estimate has been prepared at the time of the preparation of detailed estimate, almost at that time, then this sanctioned cost or PE cost may be more than justified cost and tendered cost put to tender, the estimated cost put to tender. Then the justified cost may be more or less than the estimated cost put to tender, because because the estimated cost put to tender is based on certain SOR, and actual market rate at the site may be more or even less at particular site. Then if we talk about the award of work, then award of work is done if the tendered cost is equal or marginally higher than the justified cost, or even lower than there is no column, and even suppose it is higher marginally higher than the justified cost, then also it is awarded. So basically justified cost is considered for award of work, and many organizations consider this limit as 5% above the justified cost, and they do not they neglect this 5% above and do not even go for the negotiations. Let us talk about the EPC contracts. EPC contracts do not have BOQ, and as such the justification as per procedure mentioned for item rate tenders or percentage rate tenders cannot be prepared, cannot be considered same. Therefore, a few organizations consider sanctioned cost as justified cost. While it may not be a correct concept if extras are payable in case of EPC contracts. Let us see what may be the extras which are payable in EPC contracts. Probably may not be in all the contracts. In EPC contracts, the extras may be variations, taxes, escalation, contingent expenditure. Therefore, a percentage based on previous experience should be fixed, I think, and then deducted to arrive at justified cost in case of EPC contracts. That is, it means we are to subtract this cost from the sanctioned cost. And as a general rule, about 3% contingencies are considered in an estimate. So this 3% can be subtracted from the sanctioned cost. Then whatever departmental charges are there, those also to be deducted. Then taxes, if they are reimbursable separately, then those should also be subtracted. And escalation, if payable separately, then that should also be subtracted. Generally, escalation is about 6% per year. Uh, it is observed. Else, in EPC contracts, nothing extra should be payable, and only contingencies should be excluded for working out the justified cost. But still, there may be some variations or additional items which may arise during the execution of the work. So, in EPC contracts, the proper procedure needs to be worked out or to find out the justified cost of the tenders. Thanks for attending. I am KM Soni, ADG retired. Thanks a lot.